Hello and welcome to What Am I Rolling, a twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast, hosted by me, Fiona. This week I'm joined by two very special guests, Andrew and Drew, from Rooster Teeth's The Most podcast for Jim Henson's Labyrinth, the adventure game, a tabletop RPG based on the magical world of Jim Henson's Labyrinth, published by River Horse Games. Have you ever asked the question, what if Sarah asked the helping hands to go up rather than down? Have you ever wanted to shape a world with your mind, like Jareth? Have you ever wondered how you would have fared in this dangerous yet exciting world of the Labyrinth? Well, Jim Henson's Labyrinth the adventure game allows you to answer these questions with the help of your friends and a couple of dice. You can find out more information about Jim Henson's Labyrinth the adventure game and other River Horse Games products on their website. That's riverhorse.eu. I'll add links to it on the What Am I Rolling website and in this episode's show notes. This episode's special guests are Andrew Rojas and Drew Saplin from Rooster Teeth's The Most, a podcast where the hosts discover more about their friends by asking them the most questions. You can check out previous episodes of The Most podcast on roosterteeth.com and follow them on Twitter at TheMostCast for latest updates on the show. So here's how Jim Henson's Labyrinth the adventure game works. Whenever a character tries something which has a chance of failure, they must make a test by rolling a d6. Before the roll, the Goblin King, i.e. me, decides how difficult the test is by choosing a number between 2 and 6, with 2 being a piece of cake and 6 being impossible. If the rolled result is equal to or higher than the difficulty number chosen, that character has succeeded at the test. Otherwise, they have failed. So whilst this is a very straightforward mechanic, I'm going to be honest, I definitely got this wrong for the first part of this one-shot. I usually run a lot of RPGs which uses a very similar mechanic of rolling equal to or under the difficulty number. So it was a tad frustrating when I realised, but hey-ho, these things happen, and now we know. So apologies for that in advance. The other thing to note is that we play a very condensed version of Labyrinth the adventure game, due to having our guests only for an hour. But I think you do get the main gist of what the game is like. There is essentially 5 different chapters, featuring individual bits from the film, from the stone walls all the way up to the Goblin Castle. The RPG itself contains 100 different scenes which you and your players can jump into and enjoy. I'm going to say, I really love this RPG. It's so easy to start up with, easy to play, when you remember the right mechanic of course, and also it's an incredibly beautiful book with gorgeous illustrations. I highly recommend it if you're looking for something a little bit different for your RPG nights. One last thing before we begin. Naturally, there are times in this one-shot where the players and myself, mostly myself, get the rules wrong or forget something plot-wise. Whilst we always endeavour to stick to the rule wherever possible, at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. And what matters most is that everyone enjoys themselves. So, with all that out of the way, let's play Jim Henson's Labyrinth the adventure game. So hello, my name is Fiona and this is the What Am I Rolling podcast, a twice-monthly RPG one-shot podcast. I have 2 very special guests here today. Guests, would you like to introduce yourselves and say which podcast you guys are from?
Hello, I'm Drew Saplin, and I co-host a show called The Most with this other dude. Who are you?
I am the other dude, Andrew Rojas, who also is a co-host of said show called The Most. It's a podcast available only on one place, roosterteeth.com. That's where Drew and I both work. We work for Rooster Teeth. And it's soon to be coming out in audio format, which is why we're taking this lovely podcast tour around the globe now. We're now like...
Yeah, we're now international.
We're now international.
Yes. International.
Done it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, stamp the Most passport right now. We've done it.
London, done.
Yeah. Clink. So we host a show called The Most, and it's a show where we have guests on and ask them questions that have the most in them somewhere. So like, what's the most lost you've ever been, or what's the most delicious meal you've ever eaten? It's just a like thought starter podcast to just have conversations, let people tell stories about the most extreme experiences they've had, and it's a fun time. So we're on a podcast tour now internationally, now globe-trotting. Just a couple of Meadowlark lemons right here, battling the generals of podcast mediocrity. That's what we're out. That's what we're out doing. Thank you for having us. I really, really appreciate y'all having us on.
No worries. So just before we start, so just for the podcast, really, what is your RPG or role-playing experience between you both?
Slim to none.
Right. Excellent.
I've only ever played RPG, like tabletop RPGs virtually. So and usually everybody has their camera off, so I'm excited to try it today with everybody's camera on, and much simpler. It seems much more streamlined than in previous iterations, so I'm excited to see what comes of it.
Indeed.
I don't know, like if you could gauge my level of experience with, if this were like a video game, whatever is below novice, like whatever like the training sim is, that like teaches you the mechanics of the game. The tutorial. I'm tutorial. That's my level of experience.
If you're a tutorial, then I am your younger brother with an unplugged controller.
Heartbreaking. Heartbreaking that you think you're doing all the moves.
100%.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll get a chance to do this actually, Drew, and not have Andrew do everything for you. But do not worry. RPGs are for everyone, and it is always different levels of access to it. And that's why I thought today we'll have let's say this first hour or so into Jim Henson's The Labyrinth RPG. So this is based on the actual 80s movie, and it's produced by a gaming company called River Horse Games. And essentially, you've already made your characters, which we'll introduce them in a second. But just for the listeners at home, the main dice mechanic is simply this. Whenever there is a problem and one of you or both of you wish to solve it in some way, and the outcome is unpredictable, I say in quotation marks, you're not necessarily going to guarantee to succeed. You will roll a d6, which is just a 6-sided die. I, as the sort of, I think it's like the Goblin Master or the Goblin King who runs this maze, makes it a sort of a difficulty level. So 2 is really easy. You got to do lots of hand gestures for this.
I need my crystal balls.
The baby Sarah. That's just, I'm going to be saying that this whole time. Yeah.
Perfect. No, I'm all for that. Essentially, I wish I'd dressed up, but of course it's an audio podcast. So just imagine that I'm just wearing very tight lycra, everybody. That's how we're going to go with it.
Yeah, exactly.
But so a difficulty of 2 is very, very easy. All the way up to 6 was nearly impossible. Your teammate can help you to lower the difficulty by 1. So if one of you is in trouble and the other person comes help, if the difficulty gets 3, they will lower it to 2, and so on and so forth. If the difficulty is ever lowered to just 1, you will automatically succeed because, it's so easy, you guys can do it. And that's pretty much it. What we're going to do, we're just going to go through it essentially. There is 5 chapters in the original sort of Labyrinth. You go all the way from Stone Walls all the way to the Goblin Kingdom, essentially. But we won't probably have time to do that, so we'll just have a wander around the Labyrinth itself. So now that we've got all that out of the way, why don't we introduce our characters? So you guys very kindly rolled up some characters or divvied up some characters. So who would like to go first and introduce their character for this one shot?
I'll go.
Yes.
I'm a horned beast named Tubbs, and my powers are lifting and pushing, and I'm very blunt. And I can control water.
Excellent. So Tubbs, the horned beast who can
Tubbs with a Z, please.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. I'll just get that in.
The Z makes it cool.
Exactly.
ZTUBS. That's how you spell Tubbs. ZTUBS.
Okay. I got that. Fantastic. And so what was your talents again? Just so I've got them.
Lifting and pushing.
Lifting and pushing. And what was your weakness there? Sorry.
I'm blunt. Was blunt correct? Was
blunt
one
is
of
what
them?
it is. That's what it is. So, so your strength is your lifting and pushing, but your flaw is that you are blunt. So that is good to know. Thank you very much. Andrew, what is your creature that you're bringing to us today?
Okay, I think so. We're essentially the same character. We chose the exact same things.
Perfect.
Great. We didn't talk to each other before this either.
We absolutely did not. So the similarities between Drew and I continue unabated. So I am also a horned beast with lifting and pushing.
Yeah,
very good. My flaw, though, however, is I'm overconfident.
Excellent.
I'm overconfident. Many a hernia have I pulled by being too overconfident with my lifting and pushing abilities. And my name is Jeff. but spelled Geoph.
Oh, a PH, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Yep.
Jeff. Most uncommon spelling of it I could possibly muster.
I love it. And what control object do you have? So obviously Tubbs has lifting water. You have a choice between treasure, glass, plants, rocks, furniture, and water.
I'm going to do rocks.
Rocks. Excellent.
Rocks. With an X.
With an X.
Tubbs.
Oh, my.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Gotta get it right. I gotta make sure I got it right.
Tubbs and Jeff sounds like a great buddy cop show.
I would watch that Netflix show for sure.
Every week something is jumped with a car. Like every week we leave something with a motorcycle or a car. So many alleys with empty cardboard boxes that we bust through. That's us. That's our adventures.
Tubbs and Jeff.
And the only other thing to notice about horned beasts is that they are very big. If you remember from the actual film, they are huge, much bigger than Sarah, the protagonist. So
Ludo, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, essentially imagine you two are sort of these very big creatures. Thank God there's nothing too small in the labyrinth, eh? Well,
Sarah? That's like all I mean.
Exactly. Well, why don't you describe each of your characters? What do they look like? Are they similar? Because obviously they're similar sizes, but are they similar coloured fur? Is there one's got one horn? What do they look like?
I've got one horn that's got like a bite taken out of it.
Oh,
and a weird little mohawk shaved in the middle of my head.
Perfect.
I have two horns. Oh, and my fur is blue. Look very much like Sullivan from Monsters Inc.
Perfect.
In my mind, I'm treading very close to copyright infringement. My mind is definitely going to get a strike. I'm getting a cease and desist in my mind right now.
The game is called Labyrinth, the adventure game. So I think we're okay.
We're okay? Okay, cool. Good. If you can imagine Sully from Monsters Inc., you got it. That's my creature in my mind's eye. Perfect.
So the final thing we have to do before we sort of begin is, so you two are our friends. I'll say that now before we go into any sort of combat.
Very
So
good.
we only have an hour, but you have been brought together because the Goblin King, the person who runs this world, has taken something from you, and the mission essentially is that you have to go get it back from the Goblin Kingdom in the center of the labyrinth. So, what do you think it is that the Goblin King has taken from you that you have to retrieve?
Oh,
and it can be anything, absolutely anything.
I mean, can it be our podcast?
Absolutely.
There it is.
Tubbs and Jeff's podcast has been taken.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent! I love it. What's your podcast called then?
Goblin Kingdom Today. Andrew, do better. Andrew, you're the title guy. Do better.
I was gonna call it Fur Trap because we're both because we're both furry beasts.
Fur Trap.
And that way we can say you're in the. That's what we can say to our guests. You're in the trap.
Welcome to the oh yeah, you love that.
And I love saying that. Back in the trap. Yep.
All right. So the Fur Trap has been taken from you. You maybe noticed one day you're looking on your Apple Podcast Connect and say, wait, it's gone from our account. And you notice it as a new name has come underneath it. Is the Goblin King has taken it from you. And so you have to go and request an audience with the Goblin King way into the Citadel, essentially. So with all that out of the way, you start on the outskirts of the labyrinth. Let me get up. I love this as well. So in most RPGs, you get a little bit of flavor text to start with. And, sometimes it's very descriptive stuff. This one just starts with dawn. The labyrinth, the labyrinth is spread out before you, crawling over the hills surrounding the Goblin King's castle. Descending the slope, you are confronted by a wall, beyond which the labyrinth's first ring, the maze of stone corridors you glimpsed from the hilltop. A square stone-lined pond filled with brackish water lies nearby. From what you can see, there is no opening or gates and no footprints on the sandy earth. And as you two sort of slowly get closer and closer, you hear two voices calling out to you. One says, hey, come here. This is the way into the labyrinth. And you turn to see a small dwarf, sort of with a big nose and sort of breeches with sort of braces and stuff. It's here, this is the way in. And on the other side, you hear, no, that's not the way in. This is the way in. And just like yourselves, you see another horned beast standing again in front of another door. So we're sort of one off to your right with the dwarf beckoning you in, and there's one off to the left with a horned beast beckoning you in. It's both telling you to go into different doors. And in between them, there is this sort of blackish pond. What would you like to do?
I mean, I feel like we should go to the one with the horned beasts, maybe.
I feel like because of my very dinosaur-like brain, I feel like that is my inclination is to go to members of my kind, to innately trust members of my kind.
But we are on an adventure, huh?
Yeah, but then the other part of me is very skeptical that this is a magic labyrinth. This very well might be an illusion or a trap. Could be some sort of goblin king. He's known for his deceitfulness and trickery, and moving the labyrinth around to keep it from our goal. And it seems like this beast that looks like us might be a mirage, might be an illusion.
I think you're right.
To get us to trust our preternatural desire to be with our own kind. So I would say I'm going to go over to Hoggle, the little dwarf. I'm going to go to the right to the Hoggle, the dwarf. I call him Hoggle. That's his name. That's his name in the movie.
That's his name in the movie. Yeah. No. So I guess you approach it and he goes, "Come. My name is Glom, and this is my door. Yes. If you go through my door, you will do the smart thing." And then from across the way, no, don't go through that door. No, you got to do the wise thing. Come through my door, says the other horned beast.
Oh,
I think we go dwarf. I think it's dwarf all the way. I'm now. You've convinced me. There's no. I feel like I'm now bought into it. Also, I kind of just want to play in the Blackwater, but
You most certainly can do if you want to.
The
water, as you look at the water, it is sort of it is very still, like a pond, essentially. There's no sort of movement at all in it. It's about maybe an inch or so sort of thing. You can see the bottom of it.
That's mosquito heaven, baby.
Yeah, I don't want to get
there's definitely a few
Labyrinth
flies
Zika.
and stuff. Maybe a couple of fairies as well, sort of pondering around the top.
Yeah.
What do you say, Andrew? Should we go the dwarf route with?
Sorry.
What was the dwarf's name again? What can I ask your name again, sir?
Glom is my name.
Glom.
Yes. The smart thing is to come through my door. Yes.
Oh, I forget that I'm blunt. I should have just said, "Give me your name."
No. What? Oh, okay. And then the horned beast just sits back down. It's like,
Oh, I don't know. Now I'm having second thoughts. The sadness, the sadness in the horned beast voice. Again, this could also be a bug zapper. We could be walking right into
we're walking into a bug zapper. We should come on, Jeff. Let's go towards the door. I feel like the counterintuitive is always the way to go, especially when dealing with the Goblin King.
Turn into the skid. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go with Glom.
Excellent. Come in. And he opens off, and his door you can see is sort of old wood and rusty metal. And he's like, yes. You go through this door, all the puzzles will be much easier. Yes. You want to that, don't you? Yes. Come in. And he opens the door, and you can see it's like 6 feet, 7 feet tall. So you're able to sort of squeeze in. And he says, "Good luck in the labyrinth. Have fun. And behind you, he's like, oh, okay. Oh, and the door sort of shuts behind you. So I'll make a note of that. You chose Glom's door. Okay, good to know. So you've passed sort of the first test. You're now inside the labyrinth. I would like one of you to roll me a d6.
Okay, I can do that.
Please. And tell me what number you get.
2.
Excellent. So as you sort of make your way through the labyrinth, you've not been part of the labyrinth before, but certainly from the outer walls, it is long stretches of corridor. And you eventually sort of find yourselves sort of going in and out until you find sort of an intersection of various different passages. In the center of this intersection, there is a stone obelisk. It's about 7 feet tall, and there are 6 sort of stone hands pointing out every side of it, pointing to a different direction. There are paving stones near it, which are heavily scored as if something heavy has been repeatedly dragged around. So on the stores in front of you. Can someone else roll me 2d6 for me?
I will do that. I've got a 2 and a 1.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so one of the hands is pointing straight down in front of it. And on the paving stone there is a potion with a little label on it. And the label, in very cursive handwriting, says goblin form on it. Just there, pointing down. And the other hands are all pointing off in different directions. And each sort of hand connects to another passageway in the labyrinth. What would you like to do?
Drink a potion.
Form.
Who's drinking what potion?
I'm drinking the potion.
All right.
I'm very blunt. I'm trying to get up into this character. I'm working. By the time the thing's over, I'll be there.
You'll be fair. So you rush ahead, your big hand sort of picks it up, pops it open, and you drink. And as you start to drink it, you feel your sort of self changing and sort of fizzing almost. And your friend can see as you yes, Jeff with a PH, you can see him, Tubbs with a Z, slowly but surely minimizing down into the form of a goblin.
Oh no!
Just goblins, just for the sake of it. So they come in all shapes and sizes. But this one's quite small, as I've just discussed. They all swear allegiance to the Goblin King, and most would never oppose him. So technically, you have the guise of a goblin now, even though you still retain all of your sort of stats and traits as a horned beast. So it's good to know that you are currently in disguise as a goblin.
Hello, I'm the little goblin boy. Jeff, what do you think?
You look great.
Great.
Yeah. You're not as furry. You're a lot more slimy, a lot more reptilian. But and that cod piece is looking great.
It's great.
Yeah, it's really something else. So yeah, I think this is I'm gonna look on this as a positive development.
I think we can figure it out.
And now as you look up at the obelisk itself, the sort of hand that was pointing down to it turns up into a thumbs up, essentially, as in correct. You now have a potion. And then it goes, oh, as you've drunk it, and goes, oh well, and sort of
gives an. I love this hand emoji sign that we have. This is giving all the it's giving the right on, okay.
And you can see, again, the other hands are still pointing to different directions of the passageways and stuff. Mm-hmm. So indicating possibly that there are other potions to be found. But again, as you sort of maybe have a look around to see around thing, you sort of lose the track of it. But actually, as maybe yourself, Jeff, with PH, leaning against the obelisk, you can see the hands starting to move around and twist so that almost like they are homing in on various different potions.
We should take the obelisk with us. You should just carry it on your back. You're strong. You can lift and push.
I'm also very overconfident. So this seems like something that I want to at least try.
Absolutely.
I'm lift first, ask questions later, sort of beast. So yeah, I'm gonna carry this up. Give me this obelisk.
Brilliant. So can you, Jeff and PH, roll me a D6? The difficulty for this is a 5 because it's quite heavy, but you can lift and push things. It's now down to a 4. So you have to get 4 or lower.
1.
Oh, success indeed. So you start pushing it. Tubbs, can you roll me another D6 for me, please?
Sure. 1.
Oh, excellent. So you start pushing it in a direction where you think, and it's sort of in and out and stuff. And maybe Tubbs, because you're a little bit smaller now, you're sort of more directing Jeff, the PH, just making sure you can get through the things. And as you're doing it, it is making a lot of noise, like a whole bunch of all the way through, and you can see the scourges on the paving stuff. You're like, it's because other people have pushed this obelisk before. And as you're making this noise through the sort of labyrinth, you lose an hour or so, and you see all the eye lichen sort of looking around and watching you leave, and there's some worms as well looking out of the little howdy horse and hiding back. But you end up in what can only be described as a cistern. So you manage to get sort of down some stairs, like the obelisk sort of down the stairs. Gently, you're like, oh no, into a dark catacomb. And up ahead, you can hear the sound of water dripping into a pool. And you can see this huge cistern with a vaulted roof supported by stone arches rising from the surface. And apart from the steady dripping, everything else is silent. In the center, there is a small rowboat floating around in the water, holding a figure. But more importantly, the hand on the obelisk is pointing down at something else. Can someone roll me 2d6 for me, please?
4 and a 3.
Ooh, interesting. So this one is pointing down, and for a second you see a teeny tiny beaker which sort of shimmers, and then there's 2 of them, and there's back to 1, and then there's a little note on it again with that same cursive that says "clone self" on it.
Ooh. Okay, I'm drinking that one this time. You got the first bottle. This round's on me.
Okay.
All right.
So suddenly, Jeff and PH, you sort of take it out, and you can feel your sort of almost your very atoms are starting to split and then split again, and something like woof. There is now 2 Jeffs with PH. I will say the second Jeff with PH doesn't look as handsome and doesn't look as sort of with it. Definitely sort of more of a sort of like, is there maybe with like buttons for eyes, that sort of like and sort of wanders around doing stuff. So you might need to direct them to see what they do.
Sure, it's a real multiplicity situation. The copies of the copies are a little bit not all there.
Exactly. And again, you see from the obelisk, this sort of hand pointing down turns up into a thumbs up, and then like another thumb comes up, so like 2 thumbs up to show that you've got this clone cell.
There you go.
But yes, in the center though, I'll get to roll for this one. You can see in this rowboat there actually is a human there, and it's very rare to see humans in the labyrinth. And you can see she's sort of scourging around in the water, like still having it, and she has on her shoulder a black cat and a black hat. The whole works essentially, and she looks like she's searching for something in the water, like very panically, sort of like. But again, the water isn't that high itself. Maybe you dip a toe in or so, and it comes up to maybe a foot, which is okay on Jeff with PH. But Tubbs with a Z, it's coming up to sort of waist level on you just now. What would you like to do?
Tell dumb Jeff to help her look, would you?
Okay.
Okay.
Starts to wander in, and the lady sort of the sort of human woman looks up. Oh no! Back, you foul beast! And she starts like throwing various things out of the robot. The cat sort of like hisses and stuff and jumps onto fake Jeff, starts clawing at his skin. What would you guys like to do?
He's your clone. You deal with it.
Yeah, it's truly. I did. Oh my gosh. You always think it's going to be peaches and cream when you go out a clone, but these are the drawbacks. This is the dark side.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to get dumb Jeff with a PH. I'm going to get him to come back. I'm going to like you bring, but hey, don't scare the lady. Come on, come back over here to and we can explain ourselves.
All right, roll for me a d6. The difficulty for this is a 3 because he can hear you, but he is currently struggling with a very frightened cat.
Yes,
in his face.
He is becatted. He has been becatting. Okay.
Exactly.
I probably should have asked if they even needed help. That probably should have been step 1 instead of just sending a giant dumb beast to start helping.
It's sending essentially a boulder with arms out like towards someone in a tiny robot.
You. Yes.
Yeah. Don't be afraid. It's like, oh
exactly.
my God. I just rolled. It's a 2.
A 2, our success then, yeah. So fake Jeff with PH does hear you and sort of manages to sort of do that very comical sort of cat rip off of the face, and the cat sort of spitting and hissing and stuff, and it gently puts it down, tries to put it down in the water, goes, oh no, probably bad idea, and then sort of gives it back to the woman and sort of backs off, and the lady sort of says, oh, are you stuck down here too in the labyrinth? I've been trying to get out for so long, but that Goblin King, he stole my broom from me. I don't know what to do.
Well, in order, I would say, very dangerously treading on some different litigious IP. Would you like to join us on our quest up a not yellow brick road in order to retrieve the thing that was taken from
Give
from
us
you?
your boat.
Yeah, let's. Why don't you join us on our quest? We're also looking for something. We had a mildly entertaining podcast that was taken from us.
Wait, you're the Fur Trap, aren't you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's my number 1 podcast. Oh, I'm your number 1 fan. My name is Pleasance the Witch. Of course I will join you on your quest, but it's very tricky. We need to get out of the cistern. Like, I don't know the way back from here. And you can see in the cistern itself, like there is water, but you can see there are little bubbles coming up beneath the rowboat where it is.
I feel like I want to send dumb Jeff. You know what? No, I'm overconfident. Dumb Jeff, take 5.
Okay.
I am going to dunk my head into the cistern and see where those bubbles are coming from. Maybe there's some sort of drain or plug or something. I just want to see what's going on down
You're
there.
probably gonna die.
Yeah, so Jeff, you sort of put your head under the water and you can see there is a seal just underneath. And the water itself is clean, but the darkness in the system makes it very dirty. And you can see it is like a circular stone preventing the water from draining. There is a handle, but you think it might not be able to be pulled unless there's severe strength behind it.
Use 2 Jeff.
Yeah, this is double Jeff time.
Double Jeopardy.
Yeah. Oh, Christ.
Amazing. Okay, so the difficulty of this is 6, but because you have fake Jeff helping you, it's down to 5. You also have heavy lifting, as your strength, so that goes down to 4.
I could help too.
Yeah. So what are you doing to help then, Tubbs?
Cheering them on, even though lifting and pushing is something I'm good at.
I would like to hear an example of you cheering them on, just so I can decide as the goblin.
You guys
champion.
don't suck that bad.
Perfect. That's now down to a 3. So you need to get 3 or less. No, 3 or more. Sorry, I've done this wrong this whole time. 3 or more in order to succeed.
3 or more. Okay.
I think so. Yeah. Sorry, I'll double check that.
I'm just happy that we don't suck that bad.
I'm
just
blunt.
having.
I'm trying to be very blunt.
Yeah, it's doing really well.
Yeah.
Good.
This is the kind of cheer. This is the kind of tough love that that we need. All right. 5.
5. Yeah, that must be right. It must be higher. So that's my bad. I got it wrong. But yes, so you succeed. So you and Fake Jeff sort of and that little help from Tubbs just showing you don't suck so much. You got this. And as you start to say that, Tubbs, as well, you can feel actually your body starting to change again. And suddenly, woof, you now return back to your normal form of the horned beast. And as you do so, that sudden woof of energy, essentially, you just hear a click as a plug essentially is pulled. And suddenly, Pleasant's like, oh no. And the whole water starts to swoosh and swirl around, and you all get sucked down the cistern. Can one of you roll me a d6 for me, please?
I'll do it. 2.
Interesting. Okay, so this time you were sort of shot out one edge of the maze, like it almost like a secret door just opens, and you sort of all splatter to the other side, and sort of all land in a sort of wet heap, with all the water sort of draining away, and a rowboat on top of you all. But Pleasance is still there, the witch.
Oh, the indignity. Oh, the indignity
Yeah,
of being
you're all
spat
sort
on
of
a slide,
Yeah,
and then a rowboat landing on you.
Yeah, it's all like, it's all good, and then poof, on top of you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And as you sort of get up and sort of shake yourselves off, with Fake Jeff there as well, who's sort of like just again sort of sopping wet until you maybe like dig him in the ribs, and he goes, oh, and starts to like wring himself out.
Sure.
You can see that around you there are broken branches and twigs, moss and leaves littering the passageway. And as you start to pick your way through them, you come up towards a very dense, sort of solid, interwoven wall of all these sticks and twigs and leaves sealing off this side of the passage. You would all recognize this as a very big nest, which is about, I'd say, 6 feet, 7 feet tall, like sort of blocking off this passageway.
Big bird?
Peasants are like, oh, we must be careful. There are definitely birds that would put their nests in the walls here. It'd be terribly frightful if one of them is here.
Yeah, and I will eat one of those eggs. If there's an egg in that nest, I'm gulping that thing down. So you can't trust me around eggs. So I'm also a little bit nervous for what's ahead.
You're all getting a bit packaged by this point because you've traveled, you've pushed that obelisk quite far. You've picked a door and you've gone down the cistern. It's definitely lunchtime by this point.
Mm-hmm.
You can see that you can't necessarily see through the nest at all, but you can definitely see there is a way above it and over the top of it, so to speak.
Oh, okay. And I've still got the obelisk, correct? I'm still schlepping that across Christendom.
I would say you didn't. Because I assumed you were messing around with the cistern, like with the plug and stuff. I assume it's left behind. Yeah.
It's jammed. It's stuck.
Oh, it's stuck in behind you, so you can't go back up. Yes, that's exactly right. What's happened. Unfortunately.
That's it. All those hands just grabbed the edge of the.
No. Yeah, exactly that. What would you like to do?
We should stack the witch lady on top of both of our shoulders and throw her over.
So she can get a peek.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to, for sure. If you start to sort of climb up, you can see who's climbing on who.
Pleasance the Witch is climbing on top of Dumb Jeff.
Right.
He's the base. Dumb Jeff is the base.
Yeah. He's got a low center of gravity.
Wait, and then are you two just standing back, leaving the NPCs to succeed in your adventure for you, or are you doing something?
I'm taking a very supervisory role in this. Right. I have I'm a project manager, which goes with overconfidence. I feel like that's a very overconfident. Overconfidence is a big trait for a project manager. So
I'll get on Dumb Jeff's shoulders, and then we can see. We not only can see into the nest, but also really far as well, probably beyond the nest.
Yeah,
exactly. So wait, you're getting on Fake Jeff's shoulders, and then Pleasance, because I've got to be honest, Pleasance.
That's right.
Okay, she's like,
she's not sandwiched in the middle by any means. No.
Yeah, no.
she's just flat at this point. No, so okay, so Tubbs, so you get on top of Fake Jeff. Make for me just a D6 roll. The difficulty here is 3.
Okay. 4.
4, you succeed. So you can see that from this point, you've made it quite far into the stone walls, but yet so far away to the Goblin Castle and to the Goblin Kingdom as such. But you can see actually into this nest, and there are how many eggs are in there? Oh, there are 6 eggs in here, and they're all different beautiful colors and stuff. But also in the distance, you can see sort of stalking towards you over the walls of the labyrinth, this huge bird, which you recognize as a stilt bird. Imagine like an ostrich with legs that bend backwards, sort of that backwards knee, essentially. And it's sort of coming towards you, and it sort of notices that you are near its nest, so it's starting to speed up. What would you like to do?
I'd like to grab 4 eggs and to clear the nest.
Okay, so that's going to be a difficulty of 5.
Okay.
But you've got your lifting stuff, so you can definitely take. I would say that it's 4. So you need to get 4 or more. Is there anything you're doing to help Jeff with PH?
I would really like to.
If you don't help, I'm eating your egg.
Okay. Here's the plan.
Mhm.
You need to lateral these eggs down to me. That way we clear the nest. So I will catch them, toss them down to me,
There
and
we
I
go.
will catch the eggs.
You promise not to eat my egg?
I promise nothing, but I will try to catch these eggs. Listen.
Fine. It's a risk I'm willing to take.
Of course,
Okay.
there's some real Jim Henson nightmarish stilt bird coming at us. That's
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you need to get a 3 or higher to succeed, Tubbs.
Oh, I got a 3.
3, you just about do it. So yeah, you're sort of, you use your big arms to scoop up these different eggs. You get one that's like a greeny color, one that's a bluey color, so they're yellow with pink spots on, and then finally like a red color. And you pull that out, you see this bird stalking towards you, sort of like, and you manage to get down. And you give a couple of them to Jeff. Pleasance has one, and then you're like, now what? And
cheese it.
Yeah, Pleasance is like, yeah, run. So you sort of run back the way you came. Can one of you make for me a d6 roll?
I will. 2.
2. Oh, excellent. As you're starting to rush through the labyrinth, again, you twisting away, but you can hear this bird ever present behind you. Oh my God, I got a 6.
We're dead meat.
Oh, we're dead. Yeah.
Jeff with a PH. First of all, you realize fake Jeff is not with you. He's left behind.
No.
But second of all, the egg you are holding, sort of one of the eggs, we'll say the blue one, starts to hatch in front of you. But as you sort of turn around the next corner, you see this passageway is littered full of fuses and kegs of gunpowder and sticks of dynamite. There is a crew of 5 goblins sort of scurrying about, tossing explosives to one another and attaching them to the walls and floor. And all of them are carrying lit torches. What are you guys going to do?
I'd like to throw the baby bird into that mix and then cheese it down a different corridor. Andrew, what do you want to do?
Interesting. I have a feeling that this baby hatchling, I feel like this thing is about to imprint on me. The second it hatches, it's going to see me and think I'm its mother.
Oh, that might not be a bad idea to have around as a defense mechanism.
Correct. So what I would like to do is I'd like to get one of these kegs of gunpowder with a fuse.
Yes.
And give a nice I'm gonna drop back deep, and I'm gonna give this thing a nice spiral at this bird that's chasing us.
Okay. Oh, so the bird behind you, mother bird. Okay.
The mama bird. I'm gonna, yeah, exactly.
Okay. So you can see there are all different sorts of things. There are these things like you recognize called poppers, which are like marble-sized explosives that you can throw. But the one you're looking for definitely is a boomer, huge barrel of gunpowder that goes off with a big sort of mushroom cloud of green smoke you've seen before and sort of things. So you rush ahead. You see the goblins sort of like, what are you doing? No. And then they see the bird behind you go, oh, no. And start pegging it in the other direction away from you. So easily you can get up to this barrel, and you start to look, and you can see it's just like stalking around this corner, and you can see almost like a Godzilla style, this huge bird with like purple and blue plumage, just like seeing all these eggs that you're all still holding. So if you're throwing a boomer barrel at them, it's going to be a 5 difficulty. You're good at heavy lifting, so I think you'll be able to lift it. So that is a 4. What are you doing, Tubbs, to help with this, if anything?
I'll help. I'll help by holding your eggs.
Oh, thank you. You're helping. Thank you. You're so generous. So how selfless of you.
Absolutely. So that is 3 on the 3 or more on the dice, please.
6.
Oh my goodness, amazing. So
Wow.
just like every American football sort of replay, you sort of line up, roll up, and then you sort of just let it fly. I've seen so much American football, as you can see.
Very, very clearly, you've painted a real picture there.
And it sort of turns around, and you can just see this bird opening its mouth, and it just goes shung, like stuck in as a plug, and you can just see the fuse sort of, and the eyes go,
yeah.
And then we do a cutaway from the labyrinth, and you just see and there's a green mushroom cloud just appears up in the slow distance.
I'm gonna need some feathers slowly drifting toward the ground. Just
absolutely. Yeah. And as you're holding these other eggs tubs, you can feel another one starting to hatch now. So that's 2 out of the 4 eggs starting to hatch around you.
My lunch.
What do you want to do now? So you can see the passageway carries on. You can see where the goblins have sort of dropped all their torches and stuff. There's other explosives nearby, and obviously back the way you came, where the nest was. What would you like to do?
I'd like to take a handful of those poppers and
yes, that's what they're called.
And go to a disco.
Go to a disco.
Go to a discotheque.
I hear it's at the Goblin Castle, so it's fine.
Now we're talking.
The Goblin Castle is my favorite disco. And then I'd like to put 2 of these little birds down and let them walk on their own if they're hatching. Just let them. What do you think I was going to say?
I said, I'm going to put these birds down.
Let them follow behind me. But then so the third thing I'd like to do is eat one of those eggs before another one hatches.
Easy enough. Like, I guess you let the 2 sort of eggs out, and they sort of roll. So the bluey and the green one sort of break open, and these birds start to get up. They're about 3 feet tall, so they're as tall as Pleasance, who's been very quiet through this whole exchange. Very. She just murdered a bird in front of her, and these 2 other things, and they sort of like, mama, sort of thing, looking to both of you. And as Tubbs goes to break open another one and start scooping out the insides just to eat, mama, horror in their face as you see that. What would you like to do?
I offer the other egg to Jeff.
And as I am consuming this egg, I am petting the other 2 birds on the head, going, shh, shh. It's gonna be all right.
You're gonna have to roll for that, my friend.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I'll have to roll. Good night.
That's a 5. Do you have anything that can help with this at all? I guess you're overconfident.
I'm overconfident, and you know what they say? Well, no. They say with animals and beasts, especially beasts of burden, that like you need the right amount of confidence to approach them and ride them and tame them, but not too much confidence, because that overconfidence equals disrespect, and disrespect gets you hurt. So I don't know that my overconfidence helps me in this. I think if anything, it hurts me.
It hurts you. That's fine. We'll still keep it at 5. So that's all right.
We'll keep it at 5. Okay, so I've got to be
more.
5 or more. Woo! Here we go.
Good luck.
2.
Oh no. So as you're like there, you can just you'd hear sort of hissing, and as you look, these birds get bigger and bigger and start to their hackles come up, and they start and they start to try and attack you, forcing you to run away from them essentially, and not to go back. Can someone do me a final roll of the dice and see where you end up?
1. Christ.
A 1. Oh, excellent. Okay. So you are just like barreling through, like Pleasance is like sort of behind you with the cat sort of like looking back, and you enter sort of almost like a courtyard, and the doors behind you shut, and in front of you are 2 strange guards barring the way to an ornate door in the wall, and each guard holds a shield in front of them with a head protruding from the top and from the bottom. They're like, travelers, welcome, you must answer our riddle to get through the door. The other one says, you answer rightly, the door will lead to the castle at the center of the labyrinth. If not, the other one says, it will lead to certain death. And all the heads go, ooh, in a very comical way, as if they practiced this for many, many times.
This is the moment we've all been training for. Oh man, I hate when that doom is certain. I'd accept a chance of doom, but certain doom?
Certain
Damn.
doom? Forget it.
Okay.
Only if you get it wrong, but it's all right. We have a riddle for you. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And so they all clear their throats like, and they say, whoever makes it tells it not. Whoever takes it knows it not. Whoever knows it wants it not. What are we? So that is, whoever makes it tells it not. Whoever takes it knows it not. And whoever knows it wants it not. And this is where the crux of all RPGs comes down to, where people go, no.
Dead air. Just whoever
Makes it. Whoever makes it.
Whoever makes it doesn't
Tells
say
it not.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever, what's the next part?
Whoever takes it knows it not. And whoever knows it wants it not.
A cold?
Cold. And so they all sort of chitter and say,
Hold on.
Is that your final answer?
No.
What about you? What about you? The other horned beast.
Makes it, tells
Whoever
it.
makes it tells it not.
Well, then one of them goes, wait, you went through the door with the dwarf, didn't you? Oh, yes, the puzzle door. They sort of whisper. They go, okay, a clue.
Ooh, a clue.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
a clue. It's not a cold, but it is something that you use regularly in the real world. Almost every
Ooh.
day, in fact.
Almost every day.
A sandwich. That's not my final answer
Whoever
either.
knows
Yeah.
it wants it not.
Yeah.
Everybody wants a sandwich.
I often take a sandwich, but know it not. I often eat a sandwich completely blindfolded.
Yeah.
Makes it.
Oh, I got it. Is it a bed?
A bed. No, it's not a bed. It's not a bed. Unfortunately.
Is it-
Hmm?
Time? I feel like it's so conceptually. Is it some weird concept, something like time?
Very good. We do have another riddle for time, but we didn't use it this time. So no, not this one. But if you come through again, maybe we'll use it and we'll let you through.
No. So we blew it. I feel like
we're doomed.
We're going to certain doom.
Well, this is the thing. You can push past the guards to be
Oh yeah,
fair.
we're big and heavy. We should combo and just and just obliterate these doors.
Yeah.
Wait, what? So what are you planning to do? Are you planning to just like push them out the way and go through the door?
Yeah, one side red. That's what I'm like. Yeah.
All right. So it's a difficulty of 4 because they are quite weedy guards, but you're both very good at pushing and lifting and helping each other. So it goes down to 2 easily enough. So I'd say even 1 at that point. So yeah, you easily just go boof, and they sort of all spin off the sides, and you open the doors and continue on the labyrinth. And you just from behind you just hear someone, counterfeit money. That was the answer. Counterfeit money. From behind.
Counterfeit money.
Whoever makes it tells it not. Whoever takes it knows it not. And whoever knows it wants it not.
Oh,
Hard
Very
one.
good. Yeah.
Hard one. And as you sort of rush off into the labyrinth, you've come over several other obstacles. You go to the hedge maze and you deal with other bits of problems there. You also go into the land of Yore where there are dueling knights and stuff. You make your way to the Goblin City and all the way up to the castle. But unfortunately, we have run out of time. So, we'll never know what happened to Tubbs and Jeff of the PH and their podcast and their wonderful friend Pleasance the Witch to find her broom. Maybe another time, but that's just a quick taster of the Labyrinth RPG. So there you go.
Wow.
that was so well done.
That was
Thank you.
just tremendous.
Fiona,
Thank you so
brilliantly.
much.
No
Yeah.
worries.
done.
It's a
The
nice
most-
little dip into things, and yeah, like we were saying before, just something very quick, easy, and just helps you get into RPGs. So,
easily the most fun I've had doing RPGs thus far.
Yeah.
So
Without
congratulations.
question. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, great,
Yeah.
great. I'll put that on the CV. So thank you. So I guess just to finish off the recording, where can we find the most podcasts? Where can we see it? Just where are all the details for it?
Well, we are soon to be available on your wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, sometime in October. I think it's going to be early mid-October is when we'll debut there, and we'll have links to all that on our Twitter account, which you can follow at The Most Cast. So follow us there at The Most Cast. You can also follow me on my personal Twitter at Mr. Andrew Rosas, Mr. Andrew Rosas.
I'm at Drew Saplin, my whole name. And if you want to watch, there are already episodes of The Most. We've been doing this show for almost a year. So if you want to get on roosterteeth.com, they're available there to watch and enjoy. They're an hour long and we always run up right to it. So pretty fun time with random guests throughout the world. So
brilliant. And my name is Fiona. I run the What Am I Rolling podcast, which is a twice monthly RPG one-shot podcast. We do all sorts of different RPGs, not just Dungeons and Dragons, stuff like this, like the Labyrinth RPG by River Horse Games. We've done stuff like Warhammer Roleplay Fantasy, which is incredibly scary with lots of stats. That's why we didn't do it this time. And all sorts of different things. So thank you so much. And you can find that on the What Am I Rolling website, which is the www.wairpodcast.com, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
The What Am I Rolling podcast was created, recorded, and edited by me, Fiona Howat. This episode's players were Andrew Rojas and Drew Saplin from Rooster Teeth's The Most. You can check out previous episodes of The Most on roosterteeth.com and follow them on Twitter at TheMostCast for latest updates on the show. This episode's RPG was Jim Henson's Labyrinth the Adventure Game, a tabletop RPG based on the magical world of Jim Henson's Labyrinth, published by River Horse Games. You can find out more information about River Horse Games and their other products on their website. That's riverhorse.eu. The theme music was 8-Bit March by Twin Musicon of twinmusicon.org, licensed under a Creative Commons 4.0 license. If you want to find out more about the podcast, check out the website. That's www.wairpodcast.com. Fancy getting in touch? Email the podcast at whatamirollingpodcast@gmail.com. Finally, follow the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at WAIR_podcast for the latest news on upcoming episodes. And remember, adventurers need not apply.